Du musst nicht, nur was du willst, musst du hier machen.
Some questions there from Rob Cross, where his darts are. And Peter's offered the use of his. He's probably got a few sets there to deal with, so Rob's got his though finally.
There is a particular kind of silence that arrives the moment a darts player gets something badly wrong on a big stage. The crowd is not sure whether to laugh, the player has no idea where to look, and the cameras never, ever look away. Every player in this video knows that exact silence. One of them landed a 137 checkout, one of the hardest finishes the sport has, and never got a single second to enjoy it. Another walked out for the biggest match of his life and could not even find his way to the stage. A third was knocked out of a tournament by something that had nothing to do with throwing a dart. You're going to see all 23 of these moments, and you're going to find out exactly what went wrong in each one, because for all its precision and all its calm, this is a sport that can come apart in the most human way imaginable. We are counting down from 23, and we are starting with the part of the night that should be the easiest of all, simply walking to the stage. Picture your big moment. Television debut, World Darts Championship debut, the lights of Alexandra Palace, and all you have to do is walk to the oche. Rashad Sweeting managed almost all of it. On his way to the stage, the debutant simply took a wrong turn, heading off in the wrong direction in front of the cameras before he had thrown a single dart. It is the kind of nightmare every first-timer dreads, and Sweeting lived it on the biggest stage the sport has. A walk-on song is part of a darts player's identity, and few are as iconic as Raymond van Barneveld striding out to Eye of the Tiger. At the World Championship, the music simply did not deliver as it should, turning a 5-time world champion's grand entrance into an awkward mix-up that also pulled in his opponent, Boris Grbovac. The two players later smoothed the whole thing over, but for a few cringe-worthy seconds, one of the great entrances in darts fell completely flat. Van Barneveld is not alone. At the 2023 World Championship, German player Florian Hempel walked out to the wrong track altogether, introduced to the Alexandra Palace crowd by the sound of Rocket Man instead of his intended tune. Hempel later spoke about how much the walk-on matters to a player's mindset, and how unsettling it is to lose that small piece of routine right before the most important match of your year. Darts players live and die by mental arithmetic, and Dave Chisnall picked the worst possible moment to drop a number. In the deciding set of a match against Ricky Evans, Chisnall thought he had pinned a 139 checkout and began to celebrate, only to be told his maths was wrong and the leg was not actually finished. A miscount at any time is embarrassing. A miscount in the final set, mid-celebration, is the stuff of nightmares. Back at the 2012 World Cup of Darts, South Africa's Devon Peterson was throwing for the match against Wales. He needed 61. Instead of the textbook route, the African warrior went single 7 and then double 16, threw his arms up and celebrated the victory. There was just one problem: the dart was not in. Peterson had to gather himself and step back up to the oche with the job still unfinished. Here is proof that you can get the numbers badly wrong and still come out on top. In the 2016 PDC World Championship final against Adrian Lewis, Gary Anderson miscounted on 3 separate occasions. At one stage, he had 50 left and managed to bust it by hitting treble 20. Despite 3 mathematical errors in the biggest match of the year, Anderson held his nerve on the doubles and beat Lewis 7 sets to 5 to retain his world crown. Premature celebration is a recurring theme in this sport, and Wayne Warren provided one of the clearest examples at the 2020 Dutch Open. Warren believed he had won his match and reacted accordingly before discovering the contest was not actually finished. For a player who would go on to become a world champion that very year, it was a reminder that in darts, you do not celebrate until the caller says the magic word. A darts player needs remarkably little equipment: a shirt, a steady hand, and crucially, the darts themselves. At the 2021 World Grand Prix, Rob Cross, a former world champion, arrived for his match and realised he had not brought his darts with him. The man whose entire profession depends on 3 small tungsten arrows had walked toward the stage without them, and the awkward scramble that followed was caught on camera for everyone to enjoy. Some injuries are heroic, this one was not. 3-time world champion Michael van Gerwen was forced to withdraw from a Premier League night in Berlin, handing Gerwen Price a free passage to the semi-finals. The cause was a neck injury, and the neck injury was caused by van Gerwen trying on shirts for a sponsor. One of the best players in the sport's history was beaten, not by an opponent, but by getting dressed. During the 2020 lockdown, the PDC created the home tour, with players competing from their living rooms over video calls. It was a clever idea that ran straight into a very modern problem. Two-time world champion Gary Anderson was forced to drop out of the competition because his home Wi-Fi connection was not good enough. Anderson, who admitted he even struggles to pay bills online, became the first man knocked out of a darts tournament by his own internet router. At the 2023 PDC World Championship at Alexandra Palace, Gerwyn Price faced a crowd that had turned hostile and was booing him loudly. His response became the image of the tournament. Mid-match, on stage, in front of a live television audience, Price pulled on a pair of noise-cancelling ear defenders, the kind you would wear on a building site, and threw his darts with the crowd shut completely out. It was mocked everywhere, and it is a look he has never quite escaped. In the 2017 Premier League final, Peter Wright stood on the brink of a major title against Michael van Gerwen. All he had to do was finish. Wright then missed 6 darts to win the match, an agonising run of misses on the double that he could scarcely believe himself. Van Gerwen pounced, and Wright lost the final 11 legs to 10. Afterward, Wright simply admitted he could not believe he had missed that many darts at a double. This one is a loss of composure rather than a laugh. At the World Championship, Scotland's Cameron Menzies lost a deciding set first-round match to 20-year-old debutant Charlie Manby. As Manby celebrated, Menzies turned and punched the underside of the onstage water table 3 times, sending the bottles flying and drawing blood on his own hand. He held his hands up to apologise to the crowd and issued a public apology afterward, calling it the wrong thing to do. The officials get it wrong too. During a 2010 Windmill World Masters match, Ryan Searle threw a match dart at double 10 that landed just outside the wire, which should have meant no score. Before Searle could even react, the referee called game. A combination of a refereeing error and a genuinely tight dart handed Searle a finish the rules did not actually allow. At a Players' Championship event, a referee set an entire leg off on the wrong foot. One player, O'Connor, opened the leg with a score, and only when his opponent returned to the oche did the referee realise the mistake. It should have been Van den Bogarde starting the leg, not O'Connor. The fix was as awkward as it sounds. The whole leg simply had to be wiped and restarted. At the Players' Championship finals in Minehead, Dirk van Duijvenbode threw a dart that referee Charlie Korsthofen ruled would not count because it was judged to have been tossed away rather than aimed. Van Duijvenbode could not believe it. He marched up to the referee, pointed, shook his head, and argued the decision with officials before leaving the oche, eventually going down 3-6 to Madas Razma. Danny Van Tripe produced one of the purest pieces of slapstick the sport has seen. After pinning a brilliant 137 checkout, Van Tripe celebrated with so much enthusiasm that he lost his footing and fell clean off the stage. The other players around him simply broke down laughing. It is the rare darts moment where the checkout was genuinely impressive and completely forgotten in the same second. When Wasps invaded the World Championship stage at Alexandra Palace, Jurjen van der Velde came prepared. Walking on for his first round match, the Dutchman pulled a can of insect repellent from his pocket and began spraying the air around him, and then himself, to the delight of the crowd. He was later seen wiping his face, with the PDC openly wondering on social media whether he was emotional or had simply sprayed bug spray into his own eyes. He lost the match 3-1 to Danny Noppert. The same Wasp invasion produced an even more remarkable image. Player Nitin Kumar managed to strike a wasp with his dart in mid-flight. It is, without question, one of the most accurate things ever done by accident on the dart stage, and a problem no player should ever have to deal with in the first place. At the WDF World Championship at Lakeside, Dalibor Smolik did something almost nobody watching had ever seen. In the middle of a leg, with the match level, Smolik simply walked off the stage. His opponent, Marco Cantella, was left talking to the referee in confusion, and the commentator was just as puzzled. About a minute later, Smolik strolled back, returned to the oche, and got on with it. His explanation afterward was wonderfully simple. He was nervous and he needed the toilet. He went on to win 3-1. At a BDO event, Rune David was struggling badly under pressure against Wesley Harms, and the pressure produced the ultimate darting embarrassment. One of his darts failed to even hit the board at all. What made it unforgettable was the reaction of the scorekeeper, who looked just as stunned as the audience to watch a professional miss the entire dartboard. Few sporting controversies have a name this good. At the 2018 Grand Slam of Darts, Gary Anderson beat Wesley Harms 10-2, and afterward, Harms accused Anderson of leaving a foul smell on the oche, saying it would take him 2 nights to get the smell out of his nose. Anderson firmly denied it, insisting the smell came from the tableside. Even the caller, Russ Bray, was dragged in and had to deny being the culprit. PDC chairman Barry Hearn summed it up best, joking that the sport needed to get to the bottom of it. Topping the list is an incident the cameras and the microphones captured with brutal clarity. During a televised Players' Championship match against Peter Wright and Leicester, James Wade audibly broke wind, and Wright's uncomfortable laughter and step back from the oche made it obvious to everyone. The moment was sealed by referee Owen Binks, who leaned into his microphone and announced, "Oh boy, okay then." It was not even the first time. After a similar moment at a Players' Championship event in September 2024, Wade had taken to social media to address what he called footage of him appearing to do something at the end of a match. When the referee is forced to commentate on it, you have earned the top spot, so there they are. 23 moments when professional darts forgot how to behave on camera. A player who fell off the stage, a player who could not find the stage, a player who forgot his darts, a player beaten by a shirt, and a player knocked out by his own Wi-Fi. Add in the miscounts, the early celebrations, the wasps, the referees getting it wrong, and one incident with a name as memorable as Fartgate, and you have a sport that, for all its precision, is gloriously capable of falling apart. That is the strange charm of darts. It asks for total composure under blinding lights and a roaring crowd, and every so often a player gives the crowd something far more human instead. The 9 darters get the headlines. These are the moments the fans never let anyone forget.